Coming up on this edition of Real to Real, assessing the needs of Hispanic and Latino Catholics, a preview of a special film about dating in the 21st century.
Pope Francis said, get out of where you are and go to where other people are, meet your neighbors.
And the Sisters of St. Joseph celebrate National Catholic Sisters Week, taking the message of Pope Francis to heart. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Real to Real. Hello and welcome to Real on this Divine Mercy Sunday. Latinos continue to be a growing part of the Catholic community here in Western Massachusetts. Spanish-speaking Catholics gathered recently for the diocesan V Encuentro, the multi-year process of assessing the status and needs of Hispanics and Latinos in the Catholic Church in America is now at the pastoral planning stage in the Springfield Diocese. Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky joined the meeting, combining Encuentro with the Spanish language listening session. Kathy Harrington reports.
The music was an indication that this listening session with Bishop Mitchell Rosansky would be different. On a Saturday in early March, Hispanic and Latino Catholics in the diocese gathered at St. Catherine of Siena Parish in Springfield for the next step in the Encuentro process. The timing of the Latino pastoral planning allowed Bishop Rosansky to combine it with a listening session for Spanish speakers. About 100 people from across Western Massachusetts gathered to share their Encuentro information and to tell the bishop what they think the church is doing well, including door-to-door evangelization, Catholic Spanish radio, the ministry of the Mission Sisters from Mexico, and integrating cultures. The talk grew more animated when it came to what the church should improve and the need for more Spanish-speaking priests.
It was very, very important for me to be here today, to listen to our conversations and to listen to the pastoral plan that's being formulated.
I was happy with the subjects that came up. I think we have enough information to really build a good pastoral plan.
Father Ryan Rooney, pastor of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Church in Springfield, accompanied some of his parishioners. He stressed the importance of Spanish-speaking priests to the faith life of Catholics.
One of the most intimate parts of our faith is being able to confess our sins to the Lord. And we want to do that in our own language. Even if someone knows English and their first language is Spanish, it's much easier for them to be able to open up about their deepest hurts and the things that have caused them to fall away from God in their own language.
Felipe Pantoja is a member of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Holyoke. He says it was important for him to take part in the Encuentro.
I really wanted to know what are the final decisions that are we coming to really get ready to go into the parishes and do work that is meaningful for the Christians all over.
Attracting and involving young people in the Catholic faith is not just an issue for Hispanics.
One of the common threads that runs through all of the listening sessions that I've been to, and this is the third one, is our concern about transmitting our faith to our future generations and how they will practice the faith.
As the Encuentro process goes forward, delegates will be selected to represent the diocese. Deacon Pedro says it's important they are true representatives.
And I know that we want a balance of age. We want good youth participation. We want people who are really involved in their parishes and people who are really involved at the diocesan level.
The next step in the Encuentro process is to join with other dioceses for a regional meeting in May. I'm Kathy Harrington for Real to Real.
And the National V Encuentro will take place this September in Grapevine, Texas. And still to come on Real to Real, Dan Dumas will take a look at what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield, and we'll celebrate Catholic Sisters Month. These stories and more are still to come on Real to Real.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passion's brother Chairman Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy days and join us Sunday morning. We welcome Father Brian McGrath and students from St. Mary, Mother of the Church Parish in Lee as we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday. The Chalice of Salvation, your spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10 right here on TV 22 News, and coming up next on Fox 23 WXXA Albany.
Come to Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence for retirees looking for an ideal rental setting to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We offer bright 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, wellness and entertainment programs, all with a friendly community spirit on beautiful grounds. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel-to-Reel news briefs. Thousands of Catholics across the Diocese of Springfield have been sending in their contributions to the annual Catholic Appeal, which is now in its 8th week. In Giving, We Receive is the theme for the 2018 Appeal, which provides grants to some 40 agencies and services throughout the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. And right now, with pledges and donations from nearly 13,000 people, over $1.8 million has been raised. These funds will go to help women experiencing unexpected pregnancy, to provide hot meals to the homebound, to Catholic ministry, to those in prison, and to educational support of Catholic elementary and high school students. You can make your donation in your parish or online at diospringfield.org. In other news, the Springfield Diocese has offered to provide a 1-year grant of $300,000 to support St. Mary High School in Westfield for the 2018-2019 academic year. The grant was announced March 28th by Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky. Father Frank Lawler, pastor of St. Mary Parish, has previously announced the parish high school would close at the end of the school year due to declining enrollment. After meeting with parish pastoral and finance councils, the bishop agreed to offer the grant as long as certain conditions were met, including a requirement that the freshman class have an enrollment of 20 students and subsequent freshman classes would need to have at least 30 students enrolled. You can read more on this at iobserve.org. And finally, for parents, teachers, and all who make Catholic education in the Diocese of Springfield possible, Eat, Drink, and Be Charitable was a night to say thanks. Kathy Harrington reports.
The first Catholic Schools Tuition Assistance Gala featured fine food, live music, raffles, and various auctions, all to raise money to help families afford a Catholic school education for their children.
The previous format used to be an awards banquet where we honored our teachers and longtime supporters of Catholic education.
This gala is to raise funds for families who really need that extra bit to see that their children can come into our schools.
Sister Andrea Suzuki, Superintendent of Schools for the Diocese of Springfield, says the cost of education keeps rising.
Some families struggle. Sometimes they just need a little assistance just to help them get over that hurdle. Sometimes they need a little more if they have 2 or 3 children going through the system.
The oldest of 3 boys, Bishop Mitchell Rosansky, says all received a Catholic school education.
Well, it was very important because in Catholic education, all of the subjects are imbued with the presence of God, and in having that presence of God in everything, it helped me to see the work of God throughout our world in geography and history and biology and the way we're created. So all of that helped to form me to be especially appreciative of the gifts that God has given us and the gifts that we have each day from God.
DeBurn says the gala raised more than $20,000. It will be distributed through needs-based scholarships for students in Catholic elementary and high schools. $679,000 in additional education support is sent to the schools thanks to the annual Catholic Appeal. In Springfield, I'm Kathy Harrington.
And remember to keep informed on all the latest news in the Catholic Church locally and beyond. Log on to iobserve.org. There you can read articles written by our Catholic Communications staff, as well as view archived episodes of Real to Real. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those are your Real to Real news briefs.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Rulier.
Joining me now is Jack Laviolette, the Grand Knight of Council 103 in Pittsfield, to tell us more about an event that's coming up dedicated to those who serve us every day. Hello, Jack. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Sharon. It's our pleasure to be here.
So now you will be sponsoring the 4th annual Blue Mass. Tell us a little bit about the history of how this all came about.
The history of the Blue Mass, it started in Washington, D.C. by a parish priest. There was over 1,000 police, firefighters, and first responders in their Class A uniforms who attended that Mass. Hence, it's called the Blue Mass. In Pittsfield, it started 4 years ago. We wanted to show appreciation for the people that serve us, police, firefighters, first responders, and our Blue Mass has since been growing every year.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, tell me, I understand this year folks will definitely want to attend the Mass because you're going to be giving out a special honor to a well-deserving longtime chaplain, Father Peter Gregory.
Father Gregory was our Knights of Columbus chaplain for many years, and he was also the Pittsfield Fire Department's former chaplain. And we as Knights want to show our appreciation for his dedication, his support, and his guidance as our Knights of Columbus chaplain. We're going to give Father Gregory a plaque. We've asked Robert Chawinski, the fire chief, to join us in giving Father Peter Gregory the plaque.
That's going to be very special for Father Peter, I'm sure. Now, tell me the details of where and when the Mass will take place.
The Blue Mass will take place on April 22nd at the 11:30 Mass at St. Joseph Church in Pittsfield. We invite all officers, police, firefighters, first responders, to join us at 11 a.m. at St. Joseph Church North Chapel in order to prepare for the Mass. Then after Mass, we will go to the parish center for Father Gregory's presentation of the plaque, as well as we'll do the missing officers table ceremony, and then light refreshments. All are welcome to join us in Berkshire County and beyond.
Okay, thank you so much, Jack Laviolette, for taking time out to tell us about this event, and best of luck to you. And again, if you would like to take part in the Blue Mass, it will be held Sunday, April 22nd at 11:30 a.m. at St. Joseph's Church, 414 North Street in Pittsfield. Those in uniform are asked to gather at 11 a.m. in the North Chapel. Just a reminder that this Sunday, St. Joseph Parish will also host the Pink Mass for those battling cancer at 11:30 a.m. All are invited. Is dating a thing of the past? A new documentary film examines what's happening in American culture today as young people try to establish a meaningful relationship with that special someone. The Dating Project comes to cinemas nationwide on April 17th. It's a special one-night event, a project of Boston College professor Carrie Cronin. We take a look now at a preview, followed by a discussion with Carolee McGrath and Gina Cherwinski and Jacqueline Luna from the Office of Faith Formation and Youth Ministry.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Good? Nice to meet you. You are really attractive, and I'm nervous. I love you.
My name is Cecilia Lucia Campos Gutierrez. I am single. My name's Shanzi. Hi, boys.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm an active listener.
My name is Matt Schulten, and I am single.
There's like single, married, and then there's extra single, and that's the one that I would check off.
What is dating?
Dating in today's society is cruel.
I don't really think that anyone knows how to date. Like, it's not a skill that our generation really has.
In college, I would definitely say hooking up is 100% more common than dating.
Story of boy meets girl. Girl really likes boy. Girl thinks that boy really likes girl.
I wish you could just be old school. You know, like he looked at me, I looked away.
There's not that, you know, gentleman and lady kind of feel to dating.
No limits anymore. Like making out isn't hooking up anymore. It's way further than that.
There's a ridiculous amount of pressure on people. Mr. Close Enough is out there. Mr. Perfect, he's nowhere to be found.
About 8 or 9 years ago, I realized that students were dating, and I sort of was finding out things about hookup culture, and I thought, well, this is crazy. So I started asking students to go on what I referred to as traditional dates.
I don't know if this is why I'm single, but the only thing I ask of a woman is that they replace you. Is that bad? Is that bad? Do you think women turn away from that?
Oh, heaven's sakes.
You really know that's...
So to talk more about the dating project, we are joined by Gina Chervinsky, who is the Director of Catechetics and Faith Formation for the Diocese of Springfield, and also Jacqueline Luna, who is a Program Coordinator for the Faith Formation Office. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So I want to start with you, Jacqueline. Okay. You're 23 years old. This is about your generation, and really the generations above you as well. But it's really, really difficult to be a young adult, I would say, today. Do you think that this documentary is relevant to people your age?
Speaking about this topic in particular, yes, I think it was very relevant, very current into the difficulties of what my generation is facing, and very interesting to hear how widespread and big these conversations are with youth.
In general,
right. In general, yeah.
So kids don't know, and I say kids, but people don't know how to date anymore. And, you know, and it's not just me being old-fashioned, which I am. They just don't know how to do it. Like, you know, call and, hey, let's go out to dinner, look nice, you know, pull the chair out, hold the door open. That doesn't happen.
No, those formalities have been long gone, unless you find someone who's really chivalrous. Mm-hmm. Using the phone to call is something that doesn't happen very often
Only
anymore.
for dinosaurs like me.
It really is. It's a data source. It's not a telecommunications is not the way it used to be. So that notion is it's lost. It's lost in translation. Mm-hmm. Put it that way. So young people have gone to other means of meeting people using electronic media, digital media, and so that notion of the hand-holding, walking down the street and going to a movie or having dinner, it's just not where people are at. It's more like a group of friends getting together somewhere for dinner. It's not really a date, but it's they get together.
No, because you've gone from the date to the hookup scene, which is just so prevalent among young people, not certainly just your generation. That's been going on
for a while.
For a long time. And the problem is, of course, is you're trying to bring up children in the faith. So they go all the way through high school and they're in youth group and they're great, and then you get to college. And it's a different animal. How do you help encourage kids to live their faith and to resist that temptation? Because it's out there. It's almost impossible.
I think the expectations are there, even from the youth and from the adults in this generation. I think they are looking for this type of relationship, but the conversation isn't what's there. And I think that's what this film is drawing. It's drawing a conversation to why are things being lost in interpretation? Like, many of them wanted to be on those dates. Many of them wanted to have those fulfilling relationships, but it's not what they were encountering.
Well, I think it goes back to talking with young people about relationships and the importance of relationships in the church, that everything going back to Christ has always been about the relationship with those around him, the relationships he built with not only the saints, we might say, but also the sinners, you know? So we come full circle and we have the church today and focusing on positive, healthy relationships with your peers, as well as positive, healthy relationships with your faith community, with your family and your friends. Those are all conversations that can be happening at the same time, and they're interrelated.
And is this something that you see as a big issue as you are now, in the role that you're in?
Yeah, I see that, as you're preparing young people and you start talking to them about the sacrament of marriage. So conversations come up about, well, why should I be married? And what does that have for me? I can be living with someone, So all of these conversations do come up in that course of faith formation with high school students and, in college settings as well. So how do you help them go beyond the status quo to want more? And that's really that question of that Christ asks for more. So how do we help our young people want that and see that that's their calling?
Right. It's never easy following Jesus, is it? He always it's hard, but it's the way we got to do it, though. I mean, it's hard for all of us. We got to pick up that cross. So this is a great documentary for parents and for young people as well.
Thanks, Carolee. Locally, Cinemark Theaters in West Springfield and Hadley will be showing the film on April 17th. For a complete listing of theaters in your area showing The Dating Project, we have a link at iobserve.org. To meet a Catholic sister is to be inspired. Events around the country shining the light on the ministry of women religious were held last month, celebrating National Catholic Sisters Week, honoring the nation's 45,000 plus women religious and the sisters before them who founded schools and hospitals. Sisters who were and continue to be missionaries, contemplatives, activists, and spiritual leaders. Locally, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Springfield held 2 events to bring their message to areas of the diocese who may not be as familiar with their mission. The Sisters of St. Joseph are taking the words of Pope Francis to heart.
Pope Francis said, get out of where you are and go to where other people are. Meet your neighbors.
I'm Gary.
Last month, in honor of National Catholic Sisters Week, the sisters held 2 meet and greet sessions in the diocese.
There are no strangers in our world, only neighbors we've yet to meet, and so we gather on this fine day.
The meet and greets were organized by Sisters of St. Joseph Natalie Kane and Dorothy Pilkington. It's the 3rd year in a row that these women religious headed out to St. Thomas Parish in Palmer, where they were attending Mass and inviting parishioners to a luncheon afterwards, all in an effort to reintroduce themselves and their mission.
And we're at a time when people don't know us anymore, or they remember who we were a long time ago. And as we're getting older and the church is growing, it's my intention really to help people to say that we're all one church, and so for people to know, for one thing, who the sisters are and were is part of their history as much as it is our history.
It's a wonderful learning experience for us, and it helps us to know so much more about our brothers and sisters in other parts of the state where we have never had a mission. And not having a mission here and meeting the people and the welcome that Sister Natalie and I have gotten since last year till now, we've really become part of their family.
St. Thomas parishioner Matthew Smith went to Catholic schools growing up, and he says he was taught by sisters during a time when many wore habits. He was interested in learning now how times have changed for these women religious and all about their current ministries.
Their focus on social justice and really bringing neighbors together to bring everyone closer to God. It's really terrific work, and it's subtle and it's understated, and it's probably not really well recognized, but it's so important.
Parishioner Christy Kupiec-Fox brought her son Owen to the meet and greet, learning all about the history of the Sisters of St. Joseph.
You always think of them just in the habit, not doing anything more. They're actually out there with their hands getting dirty and trying to make the world a better place.
On a separate weekend, a meet and greet brunch was held at St. Agnes Parish in Dalton.
It's obvious if you bring Sisters of St. Joseph from all over the diocese, it's just a party ready to happen.
Several retired Sisters of St. Joseph attended. They shared their stories of serving as educators in the Berkshire Catholic schools. And even now in retirement, they are involved in hospice work, pastoral ministry, and social justice causes.
There's also a presence of our charism in the sense that we are here to serve, and we're here to enjoy that wonderful gift God gave us to be a part of people's lives, that if we can be of service, if we can be of an influence in any way, we're glad to be a presence here.
Sister Barbara Fye, a retired teacher, says she really enjoyed meeting the young people at her table.
They were delightful. I had the best table. I'm primarily an English teacher, taught at St. Joe, and so we talked books, talked ambitions, talked schools.
And students like 10th grader Jonna Looney were excited to speak to the sisters and learn about their lives.
So I met Sister Barbara. She's a really lovely woman, and I learned that she taught English for many years, and she loves helping kids. And I learned all about some of the kids in my group. She actually knew their parents when they went to school, so it was very interesting.
In this informal setting, those at the gathering got a chance to bond over brunch and books, learning that sisters are actually real people too.
I know that when I was younger, I thought it was more of like far away, like I heard about nuns, but I wasn't really sure like who they were or what they did. But as I've gotten older, I think that they're really definitely real people, and they laugh and joke just like all of us, and but they do really wonderful things for our community, and I think it's really amazing what they do.
National Catholic Sisters Week is a branch of the National Catholic Sisters Project based at Alverno College in Milwaukee and is supported by a grant from the Conrad Hilton Foundation. For this week, that's Reel to Reel. A reminder that the 2018 Annual Catholic Appeal is currently underway. In Giving, We Receive. This year's theme for the Annual Catholic Appeal calls on each of us to share in the mission to bring God's peace to our world and to inspire hope in the hearts of people everywhere. To support this year's Annual Catholic Appeal, please contact your parish rectory or call 413-452-0630. Online donations may also be made at diospringfield.org. For more updates anytime, you can find information and news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org. And be sure to friend us on Facebook to follow our reporters while they work on stories for Reel to Reel and get the latest news on the Catholic Church. Like us at Catholic Communications. I will be back at this same time next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the Annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.